Hi, welcome to another Book Talk with Tracy. Today I would like to share a little bit about one of my plays called The Western Tale. This play, as it says, is based on William Shakespeare's The Winter's Tale, and I've got a copy of that here. I have talked before about how much I love Shakespeare and the fact that I've read through, all of his plays and things. So as a drama teacher and an English teacher, I always found Shakespeare to be very inspiring. So in the case of this play, I actually decided to take The Winter's Tale and adapt it for my students. And as I was writing, the thought came to me, wow, wouldn't it be cool if we kind of switched it around and made it in the Old West, make it like a Wild West tale, because the characters really lend themselves to that kind of a conflict, that sort of a duel that takes place in The Winter's Tale, if you are familiar with that particular play. In fact, it's kind of a dark play. It's considered a dark comedy, and my version sort of follows that theme. What happens is there's two friends, Big Leo and Doc Xavier, in my play anyway, who have been friends since childhood. They've been boyhood friends, but for whatever reason, Big Leo begins to feel jealous and suspicious of his longtime friend, thinking that perhaps his wife has actually been having this secret affair. And so following the original Winter's Tale, he goes through some elaborate ruses to see if that's true, and he comes to the conclusion that his wife has been unfaithful. She's pregnant, and so he doesn't even believe that the child is his, and so he basically disowns her and the child, banishes them. And in both versions, many years go by, and suddenly he meets up with this girl who is in fact his daughter. He doesn't know. Let me just backtrack a bit. So in fact, it's a lot darker than that. In the original version, he tells his servant to take the baby and to smash it against some rocks. How terrible. Well, in my version, even though he's not a very nice man in the first act of the play, and he suggests that, but at the end, the servant takes the baby and just abandons it, this baby, to die in the wilderness. Well, some people come along. It's sort of part of the farce, or the comical aspect is that these squatters come along and they discover the baby, and so they take this baby and raise her as their own. And then, of course, 16 years later, Doc Xavier, who also had his own son, the son meets up with this squatter's daughter, and of course they fall in love, and then they have to run away together. It's quite complicated, and in the end, everybody lives happily ever after. Big Leo's sorry for what he did. In fact, his wife, who we think died of a broken heart because of her baby at the beginning, she's been kept secret all these years by a loyal servant. And so everything is restored. One of the fun things about the original, The Winter's Tale, is that there is this scene called the bear scene, and sometimes it's almost like people who know Shakespeare almost use it as a funny little thing. It's like the scene says exit, enter a bear, and then exit the bear, or exit the servant chased by this bear. So in fact, there is a bear that appears sort of in the middle. The servant who originally takes the baby gets chased by a bear and presumably killed. Well, in my version, I didn't want to kill him, but we do have the famous bear scene in here, which I thought added some humor, and instead he comes back with one arm. So he's still Big Leo's servant, but he's, got his arm tucked into his clothing, and he's this one-armed cowpoke. because of course it is a Western, right? But it just lent itself so well, like the feuding and the fighting and whatever. It just really lent itself well to what I thought could be a fresh take on the story in this sort of Western setting. And we do have this snake oil salesman who functions as sort of the narrator. There is a clown in the original version who functions as a narrator. So there is a lot of parallels there. And I had a super fun time writing this play. One of the things that is interesting about it, though, as I said, it is kind of a dark comedy. And so I had, the first time that I produced the play, before it was published, I had some really mixed reactions. I had some people saying, this is the best play you've ever put on. Like, there was so much opportunity for the young actors to really get into their characters and show different emotions. It wasn't just, a flip comedy where it was, all farce and stuff. There was some really deep and even, distressing and disturbing things in the play, and lots of deep emotion that kind of goes beyond what a normal comedy would have. And so my drama assistant at the time was like, wow, this is really good. He was really excited about the play. And I had lots of people say that same thing, like they were just so impressed with the actors and the play itself and really, really enjoyed it. And then I even had, on the flip side, a person come and speak to me afterwards who was super offended because they were like, how dare you? Don't you know that there are women, who've had babies, and that would be so disturbing for them, and the fact that he's such a male chauvinist and he's going to kill the baby, and divorce his wife and all those things. They just felt that it was insensitive. That person felt that it was really insensitive. So it was interesting to me that it garnered so much response. I mean, other than the typical, oh, yay, wasn't that good? It really got people thinking, it got people talking. So I thought it was good in that regard. Fast forward several years, and then I thought, I should submit that play. I did. It was published originally by Jack Publishing in the States. And it has been performed around North America. Unfortunately, they've gone out of business now, but I did also produce it more than once myself, and each time the students really got into it, as did the audience. So I just thought I'd share a little bit about that. It's a little bit of a different play. It's not a straight up parody, if you will, but it is based loosely on The Winter's Tale. And I really do enjoy that, like writing from a classic like that has such deep characterization. So it makes good reading too, if I can say that. You can check it out. Check out my website, tracykrause.com. No E in Tracy, 2 S's in Krause. And you will see I have a number of plays because I am a playwright, as well as I write novels and other things. So that's it for today and for this episode of Book Talk. I hope that you join me every week where we talk about books. Sometimes we talk about mine, sometimes we talk about other people's books and favorites and different things like that. So thanks for joining me today, and hopefully I'll see you again soon on Book Talk with Tracy.